There you are. Welcome to Zen Fits here in Blackstone, Virginia in the middle of March. And I know it's March because I'm getting a stuffy allergy nose from the pollen of the trees. Virginia's full of trees, full of pollen. I used to, every year I think, oh no, I'm getting a cold. Oh no, I've got COVID. No, it's just it's just March. It's just March. The title of today's Zen Fit is The Sin of Irony. I was thinking of Al Franklin this morning. Is Franklin or Franklin? Anyway, he's back as a comedian. He's on tour. I remember when he got kicked out of the Senate because he made an ironic joke that was taken seriously. He couldn't believe it. But it was used against him to get rid of him. And he said, fuck it, I'm leaving. He could have fought it. Could have gone to the committee, made a big ruckus. He said, fuck it, I'm leaving. Anyway, he's back. And I like his, and he used to be a writer, comic writer for SNL. So you know he's not going to last in the Senate. Because SNL is a feast of irony. A feast of irony. So let's look at the sin of irony. What is irony? You know, I write from a Zen point of view, which basically is from an ironic point of view. I see irony everywhere. And when you see irony, you laugh. They go together. Irony and laughter. Bam! That's why ironic jokes, you either get them or you don't. If you don't get them, you'll ask, well, what does that joke mean? And anybody that could explain it, and you may smile, but you won't fall on the floor laughing. So the ironic joke is like, bam! It's an explosion of laughter. Totally out of context with the actual situation. You know, the ironic situation is very mundane. It's not like a big drama, you know. It could be very subtle. And so the laughter, when you fall on the floor laughing, it always seems to be out of context with the joke, you know why? And people that don't get it why are you laughing at that? What is going what's so funny, you know? Jews, of course, for Judaism, their God is ironic. That's why the Jews make great comics. So what is irony? What is the sin of irony? Well, if you don't get irony, you will feel offended, usually. So feeling offended is the sin of irony. Somebody makes an ironic statement and you feel offended because it was sent, you know, that's what happened with Al Franklin. You see, he made an ironic joke and he created a situation what he thought was ironic, funny, and the person who was part of the joke was offended. And sin is offensive. You know, so straight Christians, fundamentalist Christians, are always offended because they don't understand irony. They see sin everywhere. Well, that's offensive to me. They don't see the irony of it. And so there's the two states of mind that don't get irony and always feel offended, and that's moralism. That means it's good, or see the world in good or bad, and scientism or literalism, which sees the world in terms of either or. It's either this or that. But if it's this, that, or that, this, that's ironic, and that is offensive. Or we see the world morally as it's either good or evil, or good, or it's evil. It's one or the other. If something is good, bad, or bad, good, that's offensive. Or it's sin, you see. So it's a sin in either the literal mind or the fundamentalist mind to transcend opposites, to put opposites together. That's why, for a lot of people, it's a sin to drink a martini. Because a martini is ironic. It's the ironic cocktail. You got your gin. Gin is gin. You got your wine, vermouth. Wine is wine. You put the gin and the wine together, which are opposites. They don't mix, but you mix them together, and you get a martini, and everybody laughs at happy hour. But always drink with a twist of irony, with a lemon twist. That's what my uncle always said. So my uncle was a martini priest. He taught me the meaning, the joy of irony. He taught me the joy of irony. You say, joy? I say, all right, say, boy, it's hot in here. I had prostate cancer a couple of years ago, and I got hormone treatment, and it's still giving me hot flashes. And you know, I'm always going through menopause. It gives me a great empathy with women. I don't get any sympathy from them, but I have empathy. Oh, I understand the hot flashes. Anyway, so I'm constantly cool or hot or cool. And but anyway, getting back on point here, the sin of irony is the sin of mixing incompatible ingredients together to get a new recipe, to get a new meal. Cooks know this, my God. Every new recipe is a new mix of opposites. Oh, you put a little hot here, you put a little bitter here, you put a little sweet here, and you mix them together, and voila, you got this delicious meal because it balances the opposites. It balances the opposites, you see. It's not too hot, not too cold, or not too sweet, not too bitter. A good cook, good chef, balances opposites. So a good chef is ironic. You know how to create a meal out of new opposites. So it's not one or the other, you see. Anyway, so some cultures are very good at ironic cooking. Anthony Bourdain, I used to love his pieces, you know, and his thing was no reservations, or what was the other name he used? Beyond Places Unknown, or you know, whatever. But both the titles of his talks were ironic in the sense that they were going to a place that was beyond good and bad, and was a creative mix of tastes. So he was always exploring the cultures that were able to create delicious food by mixing odd ingredients or opposites and coming up with a new martini or a new whole. Of course, in food, when you get that magic mix, it's, oh God, I could stay here forever. This is so great. If it's a joke, ironic joke, you laugh. You see. And so the fundamentalist mind, the literal mind, says, well, I don't see anything funny in that. Or they eat the food and say, oh, this is too hot. This is too sweet. I don't like it. I want to get back to my bland food. I want to get back to English cooking. I want to get back to meat here, potatoes there, and that's it. Keep it all separate. Keep it all in the categories. Keep it all in the known categories. Don't mix things up. Keep everything straight, everything known, everything fixed, everything in its place. That prevents sin, you see. When everything's in its place, there's no sin. Everything is what it is. It's everything in its place. The black people go there, the white people go there. Everything's in its place. I get into trouble all the time here on Facebook. For instance, right now, I like to post. I take these posts in the morning. And checking to see if my mic was on. In the morning, I create a post, usually because it's funny to me. I laugh or respond to somebody in an ironic way. I respond to a comment in an ironic way, and I think it's funny. And often they write back and say, well, who do you think you are? Where do you get your credentials? You know, that's not what Zen is, or that's not what Buddhism is. Get in your place. Keep the categories separate. Keep everything clear and distinct. Don't mix things up. So I post my posts, my morning jokes, on a series of groups that I belong to. I call them my Buddha groups, but they have all kinds of names like Zen groups and Buddha groups and secular Buddhism. Well, that's a good one. Alan Watts groups, Taoism groups, all these different groups, all these different mixes. So every group has a different taste to it, you see. But if I go into I like to go to the and I don't even know how to pronounce it, the Dzogchen group, which is Tibetan mysticism or Tibetan Buddhism, which is basically Tibetan Buddhism and Zen Buddhism are opposites, the same Buddhism, but they're opposites. One's in Tibet, one's in Zen, but it's the same unity, same mystical experience. But anyway, so I'll go over to this Tibetan thing and I'll post my post, and they get very upset with me because I'm not strictly quoting Tibetan quotes, or I don't know how to pronounce the damn thing, Dzogchen. Tibetan words are hard. Make me laugh. Anyway, so they get on my case for not being orthodox, for not being in alignment with the sutras, and not being in alignment with the placement. You see, you can't mix Zen and Tibetan Buddhism together, you know. So when I do it, I see it as ironic, and I find that members of this group don't laugh. So anyway, but you get my point. The sin of irony is the inability to get the joke. It's the literal mind. That doesn't fit what I know. That doesn't fit my category. So if you're in a category, which is usually what a religion is, science is a category too. But a category is seeing the world in a certain placement. Everything is placed here. Everything has its place, you see. And so if somebody comes and is out of place, it's offensive. But the only way to see that you are offensive by being straight-laced, sewn into a category and you can't get out, is through irony. So irony is the only way to point to you that you're stuck up or sewn up in a position or a doctrine or a viewpoint. You're wearing a straitjacket. So irony is the only way to break through, because you can't tell a person that, but you can make an ironic joke, hoping that they get the joke. And if they get the joke, they're not caught in their straitjacket. It's a liberation. Laughter is liberating. That's why we love jokes. People that are joke tellers, you know, we all know somebody that always has a new joke. They know the value of laughter as creating a unity. So when they enter a room, they crack a joke and everybody laughs. And there's a feeling of unity and enjoyment there. Of course, some take it to extremes, but we're talking about the liberation of laughter. And laughter erupts spontaneously from irony. So the sin of irony is ironic. Thanks for dropping in. Oops, I knocked my thing here.